Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Deon. For those of you who are new, hello. For those of you who are returning, So with many of us being in quarantine, I thought it would be a cool idea to show you guys how I've been taking my self-portraits during this time. I will insert some stills that I've taken during quarantine. Like I said, this video is basically going to be a breakdown of how I took the photos, the lighting, posing, equipment that I use, etc, etc. Before we get started into this video, please make sure to give this video a thumbs up and also make sure you subscribe. You're here. We're family now. We're here. We're best friends. We're best friends. Also, if you would like, you can connect with me on social media. My Instagram is @okdeon. So, if you guys would like to know how I take my self-portraits, keep watching this video. First, a little backstory of how I initially started self-shooting. So initially, living in Arkansas, obviously I did not have a lot of people that were willing to shoot. I always had the mindset that if I'm not able to get a photographer to do something with me, I'll do it myself. So here we are. So in that, I literally started using anything that you could think of as tripods. I used to use cups as tripods. I used to use, and mind you, I was shooting all of this like on this like small pixelated Android, but I would use like books, I would use boots, I would use a bag, I would use a bunch of clothes put together and just like, honestly, iconic when I think about it. But moral of the story is you don't have to have all this equipment. You don't have to have the most expensive camera. You don't have to have any of these things to create. You're able to still create. So hopefully that's something that you gather from this video. So basically, I'm going to break this video down into 3 simple steps. So step 1 is going to be the mood board. Step 2 is going to be setup and clothing. And step 3 is going to be shooting. So moving right on into step 1, mood board. So mood boarding for me generally starts on Instagram. Instagram has this really cool saved feature that allows you to save posts that you like. Something that's really cool also is that you're able to save them into folders, which is really helpful. If you love any posts that you see on Instagram, save them, use that tool, create a little mood board. It definitely is really helpful. Another means of inspiration that I find is through Tumblr. Tumblr has been one of my biggest inspirations for pulling inspiration. Tumblr for me is definitely like a really cool curated spot that I can just go to, and I know that I'm going to be able to find inspiration for posing, styling, colors, tones, etc, etc. And then finally, you're also able to just freestyle. If you don't feel like pulling together a mood board, I know a lot of the times that I actually pull mood boards together, I don't end up actually even using the mood board because I like a certain lighting or I like a certain tweak that ends up turning the entire shoot for me around, but that's okay. It's totally fine. So freestyling is something that is definitely encouraged. Feel free to get fun, get creative, be weird, just have fun. Alright, so starting off, I want to do a quick skin prep. For my skin prep, I'm basically just going to run through my skincare routine really fast. As you can see, I have a little bit of discoloration, hyperpigmentation from some blemishes that I have, so I'm just going to use a little bit of makeup to cover that up. Alright, so starting off, my skin is already cleansed. I am now just toning. I generally use a cotton pad when I'm doing this, but if it's something quick, then it's fine. This vitamin C that I'm using is from Drunk Elephant. I'm gonna finish off with a little bit of Aquaphor. So now moving into step 2, which is setup and clothing. So I have this duvet that is generally on my like main cover that is on my bed. So what I did, please, goodness. So I took my bed and I lifted it up this way. Like I took my bed and I literally lifted it up, and then I took the sheet and then I put it around the bed. I don't know. I mean, this is like what I found to work. This is my first time ever actually doing this, so it's turning out pretty well. I think I like some of the shots. So I'm going to do a brief explanation of what I'm doing or how I do my setup. There's an app that I have on my phone here which allows me to see the photos that I'm taking on this camera. So I'm gonna turn the camera around, and if I were to say click here, it's gonna focus on my face. When I push this button here, it then goes and takes the photo. So that's literally what I'm going to be doing. This process does take a little bit of time because you do have to get your settings right, you have to get the lighting right, you have to get the angles right, but it's rewarding at the end. So as you guys see from the first sets, I actually was just setting up the camera and I was looking in the viewfinder. I was like, wait, I kind of really like this. So then I just really took that lighting and that setup, and that was the first set. I then went ahead and looked in my closet and just saw things and kind of tones that like went together, things that I really, really liked together, and just really pieced them together. I saw pieces that I really, really liked. I want to say together again so bad. Why? That's not the only word in the English dictionary. So something that I like to do, I have a slight OCD and I have to have all my outfits picked out and laid out in order for me to actually begin shooting. I will set out the tones that I want to shoot. I will set out the silhouettes that I want to capture. This just really, really helps drive the process of it all. And then finally, since I love denim, I had this envision of just like stacking denim pants together. I had an idea for it for a shoot that was actually supposed to be within this quarantine period, but obviously it got canceled, which is fine. So it was like I'd rather just like shoot it myself anyway, so that's what I did. And yeah, again, clothing is something that you can definitely play around with. Obviously having like an idea for what you want to do. If you want to do something more playful, if you want to do something more chic, then you have the ability to do that because it's these are your clothes. But again, you don't have to have the most expensive clothes. You don't have to have the rarest pieces. You don't have to have any of that at all. Most of the wardrobe that I have is thrifted. In the photos that you guys will see, everything that I'm wearing is thrifted. Every single piece is thrifted. So in that, you don't have to have designer pieces. You don't have to have the newest and hottest and trendiest things to create great self-portraits. So our final step is going to be step 3, which is shooting. The camera that I shoot on is the Fujifilm X100F. This camera is amazing. I bought this camera sometime last year in June in Tokyo. I think I paid $400 US in Tokyo. The camera in the US, I think it ranges around $800 to $1,000 brand new. So definitely was a good steal that I bought it in Tokyo when I did. I've been so happy with the purchase thus far. Literally such a beautiful camera. One, before buying any camera, I definitely recommend making sure that the camera has like Bluetooth capabilities to where you can look at your phone, you can set the ISO, the shutter speed, the f-stop, and everything on your cell phone, as well as take pictures and go through them on your cell phone. However, you don't have to have a Bluetooth capability camera to shoot self-portraits. I also sometimes take self-portraits on my cell phone, which has a timer, which is super, super helpful. Like I said, you don't have to have the Canon 6D Mark IX X lens, 50mm/35, like you don't have to have all of that. You don't. So like I said, the camera that I use is the Fujifilm X100F. I set it on top of this tripod that I bought from Amazon. I think it was like $12 or something like that. I think it was probably 15 or 20. And it was very inexpensive. I'll definitely link it down in the description for you guys. As well as the camera, I'll link the camera as well for any of you that are interested in purchasing. So next I want us to move into kind of like posing tips. Ideally, for self-portraits, since they are a little bit more difficult than just actual being shot, something that's really, really helpful that I've come to realize is just like keep continuously moving. Setting up the camera, setting up the lighting, setting up everything can be very tedious, but once you get it right, generally that's all you need is that one setup that'll take you throughout that entire set. Posing is something that is so unique to everybody. Something that I recommend though is just definitely like not getting too much into your head and feeling weird about doing certain poses. I feel like the more crazy you look, the more awkward it feels, the better the photo comes out generally, to me, I don't know. Focusing on shapes, focusing on silhouettes, focusing on what you want the focus of the photo to be, I think these things definitely help within posing. And same for angles, figuring out which side of your face works best for you, figuring out where the lighting is coming from. So obviously, for example, this is basically how I shot my self-portrait. So all of my lighting is coming from here. If I had put my camera on this side, obviously you're gonna get more shadows. If that's something that you're going for, great, but if not, obviously it's not gonna really benefit you in shooting because it's gonna be a lot of darkness on this side. Even though you're shooting the photos yourself, you're not really limited in the amount of angles that you're really able to get. There's a lot of things that you can play with. So like you can play with being up close to the camera, you can play with being further back, you can play with chin up, chin down, hand on the face, hand down, whatever. Like there's so many different types of posing and angles that you're able to get. Whatever you feel the most comfortable with, whatever you feel flatters you the most, whatever you feel is appealing most to you, go for it. Go for it, go for it, no matter what. Like, do it, go for it. So that's going to be the end of this video. I definitely hope this helped any of you that are shooting self-portraits that needed any sort of help or guidance. I definitely hope that this helped. If any of you guys use these tips, please feel free to tag me in any of the photos. I would love to see what you guys are creating during quarantine using these tips. Again, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. Also, thank you guys so much for 2,000 subscribers. What? 2,000 of us. I mean, I don't know. It's so weird because now the sun's coming out, literally. You guys make me happy and the sun comes out. Again, thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. Again, if you guys enjoyed it, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Also, if you guys have any further questions about my process of what I'm doing or anything like that, or any questions in general, please feel free to comment down below and I'll definitely get back to you guys on that. And if you guys would like to connect with me on social media, my Instagram is @okdeon, and as always, I hope you well. Bye.